Hello and welcome to the Baby Loss Podcast with me, Gabriella Austin. This podcast is for bereaved parents like myself to share their story around baby loss and miscarriage. Today I am joined by my new friend Charlie, who shares the story of the birth and loss of his son Hope, and the miscarriage his partner Claire experienced just months before. Hope was born at 14 weeks and at time of recording they did not know the gender of their baby. Many of my new friends I met through a charity called SANS, which is the stillbirth and neonatal death charity. Baby loss is unfortunately more common than people think and certainly more common than discussed. Whilst I would like to raise awareness around this taboo subject, my main aim is to provide parents with a safe place to talk about their babies, wherever they may be in their journey. 2020 was a year like no other. Loneliness set in for many, bringing back feelings and memories of loss. There is no judgment here and every journey is different. Welcome to 2021, where we tell the stories of our babies gone too soon. Trigger warning for this episode, discussion on baby loss, miscarriage, COVID-19 and contains explicit content. When you're ready to talk about Hope, then you can start.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, from my point, people listening and you know me, but I'm Charlie, maybe Hope's dad. And yeah, our story is, like everything with me and Claire, a bit whirlwind. So we both so like-minded and just knew, and we was like, right, we want this, we want that, let's just go for it. You know, life's too short. And previous things have taught me that, and grief and stuff as well. But you know what, don't waste a single day really. So yeah, went from there. We was like, right, we're going to do this. Tried for baby, and it was very we didn't put pressure on it. It wasn't like, you know, this, that, it must be this, must be that. It was like, we'll try it, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Just chill about it and let, you know, nature take its course. Yeah. So it did, quicker than we thought, and you know, quite nicely. Oh, okay, you know, everything's firing right. And then it was, yeah, we did the test and found out it was Claire knew, and then we did the test, both still just obviously a bit in shock, but at the same time like, wow, okay, we're, you know, like everything else, it's happened quick, but it's how it's meant to be. So yeah, that was really great. I mean, we're just feeling so, I can't even, like, just the elation of how everything was going, and it was all great. And that was in October, late October. So we're in sort of like dreamland. Mm-hmm. Claire's pregnant, and yeah, it was just amazing, really. And then it was, I've come from Kent. I've actually moved to be with Claire now. I come back, and I knew I had a feeling something wasn't right, but you know, when you just being silly, you just sort of like, oh yeah, one of them things. But then I think it was like the Wednesday or Thursday, and Claire then messaged me and rang me. I'd actually been out walking the dog, and then got a hold of her. I was like, are you okay? And she'd had some bleeding, so I was a bit like, okay, can happen. I'm not an expert, but I know these things can happen. Mm-hmm. But I could tell how worried she was, and I was like, no, I'm coming down there. You know, there's no way I'm staying 100 miles away.
Yeah.
So I shot down, probably a little bit quicker than I should.
That's what she said.
Yeah, got it here, and I could tell she was worried, and I know obviously he was as well. But you know, you do the typical bloke thing. It's all right, be okay, you know. And yeah, so we went to bed that night, thinking, you know, just try and be positive, and it can happen. So let's just try and get some sleep. Claire's woken up early morning, you know, woken me, and she was bleeding, and I just remember I just thinking, please no, don't, you know, just don't. We've had enough crap, and just please don't be this. But at the same time, trying to kick into kind of let's get this sorted either way. And protection mode of Claire, and as you do. So the bleeding got more, and then the pain kicked in, and I've never seen. I probably was a bit naive to miscarriages and so on, and didn't really fully get it. I thought it just kind of happened and that was it, and there was not a not I didn't know anything, but I didn't know a lot. And then the whole bodily fluids and stuff, that doesn't bother me. I work in healthcare; it's just a normal thing. So that bit's not a bit. It was just the amount of pain that Claire was in was just. I just didn't know that came with it. I just had no prior understanding or anything with that. But yeah, so that was happening. We hadn't really told many people. So then I'm thinking, I've got to get to hospital, because we called 999 or 111. Can't really remember fully that bit, but all I remember them saying is, well, we can't get an ambulance to you. And I was like, okay, but before you said you could and now you can't. There was like this whole mix up. At the same time, trying to comfort Claire, and then I was like, well, can I just get her to a hospital then, because she's bleeding heavily, she's in excruciating pain. This is a woman who deals with things pretty easily and cracks on. So if she's unwell, she's unwell. Like this isn't messing about. So I was like, well, yeah, if you can get her here. And I was like, well, why didn't you say that? And you just feel a bit like, oh, I've been waiting nearly an hour. So at this point, I'm like, right, we're gonna have to call her and stepdad.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit like, bear in mind, I know them but not very well. So I was like, how am I going to put this? So we've rung, we got through to Claire's stepdad, who's answered, and I just froze. I was a bit like, what do I say?
Yeah.
So then Claire's like, look, I'm pregnant, this is happening, I'm miscarrying, we need you here, we need someone for the dogs. So, I mean, they straight away jumped out of bed. Bearing in mind, this is 6, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm flying over. We've gone. I've shot down to the hospital again, probably a bit quicker than I should. But I knew we needed to get her there because it just wasn't right. Hospital, great. To be fair, like, I can't fault the hospital enough throughout the whole process. But I can't fault them at all. I mean, just amazing. But yes, we went in, gone into the triage, been seen by a lovely woman. Got put in a side room. Claire is obviously still in pain, but not as, it's kind of easing a bit. Still passing a lot of blood. Yeah, just uncomfortable at this point. And then obviously scared, upset, we don't know what's going on. They've taken the urine, done all that, it's come back positive. But the way you're bleeding, it's likely you're miscarrying. So bearing in mind it's a weekend, there's like, we can't really do anything now until Monday. So I'm stood down thinking, really? We've got to wait another 48 hours to find out what's going on. So by this point, the pain subsided with Claire. She's sort of back with it, but at the same time, we're sort of left not knowing what's going on. So I remember him saying, "I will book you a scan for the Monday," and then from then to the Monday, it's a bit of a blur. I remember we went into the room, and then the woman come back in because Claire done a urine test, and they said, "Oh, it's come back, negative." So at this point, obviously we're both upset. I'm just trying to be strong for Claire, really, because I can see she's just trying to hold it together. They've done the scan, confirmed, no baby. Everything has gone back to how it should be, apparently. So in one way, it's a relief that Claire's all right in that sense, but at the same time, just totally devastated. Totally devastated. I can't even put it into words. At the same time, just trying to, Claire needs me to be that strength at that time. So obviously she's in bits. Internally, I'm, just shocked. Really, I still can't explain it. And then, yeah, so we're kind of like, right, what from here? Because obviously, you don't want to kind of broach the subject, but Claire sort of bravely said, so what's the crack with this? What can we do? When, is there any limit to when we try again? And what goes from there really. So the woman was like, well, you can as soon as you want really. There's no, you apparently your fertility increases or level increases after, which I found amazing. So basically whenever you feel comfortable. So obviously, we're chatting on the way home and obviously upset and just wanted to get home and hold Claire really and just be there. So we then sort of agreed, said, okay, obviously no pressure at all, wouldn't ever do anything like that. But whenever, if you want to, obviously I'm fully with it, and if you want to, great. If you want to wait, fine. Whatever you want to do, it's totally fine with me. What she'd been through was just horrific, absolutely horrific. So we left it a little while, agreed we want to try again. This is just, unfortunately, it was part of the 1 in 4 that this can happen, or 1 in 4, 1 in 5. Let's try again. It's just a bit of bad luck, it can happen more regularly than I ever imagined. I just thought
it's very common.
I was just, again, probably thinking, oh, you get pregnant and that's it and everything's fine. Knew it could happen, but didn't realise the rate that it happens at. So in a weird way, that was kind of comforting to know that it's not something that's massively rare and it's only happened to us. And not I wish it on anyone, but at least we knew it's not uncommon. So trying again, and just not really knowing what to expect. And then thinking, hopefully it does. We've been told everything's fine. Claire's fine. I'm fine. It's all okay. And then I didn't expect it to happen again so quick. And I remember we planned to do a test, and then basically I remember just waking up to Claire being like, "I'm pregnant," and I was like, oh, "What?" I thought she was like, "Oh, I needed to go. I got up. I needed to go," sort of thing. And I was like, oh, "Okay, fair enough." So yeah, obviously over the moon and feeling grateful that it happened so quick, and thinking, obviously there's something there that we can get pregnant pretty quick, which is great. So from that, it was kind of the usual processes that you go through. We're really happy. Told people, a few people, but didn't go because of what happened last time. You still got that in your head of, okay, this is great, but then that's there as well, like, please don't happen again.
Yeah.
But just overall, just really happy. And I just remember looking at the stick, like, just just beaming, basically, thinking, gonna be a daddy. And Claire's gonna be a mummy, and it's so we're at that point. And then obviously with what happened before, we said let's book an early scan, and let's just obviously last time it was 6 or 7 weeks, so we booked an early scan just for that bit of reassurance. And I remember going in, and you see this tiny little beam, if you can describe it, and then just sort of fluttering away, and thinking, just thank you, like, whoever, whatever. Everything seems okay. It was all great. We got our pictures, come out of there, shared it with a few more people, just in our little circle. And then thinking, right, let's get to the 12 weeks. That's the next big step, and that's normally the safe zone, and your worries go. Not they ever did, because they're always there.
Yeah.
They don't go, do they? No matter what people say. And obviously, Claire's worried, Claire's anxious, and just trying to reassure, and trying to get to that point and get the next scan and see how things are from there. And so everything was going really well. So we got to the. I remember getting to the scan, and we're there, and we're excited, we're anxious, thinking, please, everything be okay. And so we've gone in, and I remember actually weirdly, we're quite into, people might say, hibbity-jibbity and spiritualism, and just for me it's fate, and that whole thing's happened for a reason. And so the woman who did the scan, is it sonographer, they call them, or
Yeah.
she's doing the scan. I noticed on her name badge back in Kent, a friend of mine, she shared the same name, Florence. And I always think Florence Nightingale, and it was just really weird. Claire had got that usually. So I just thought that's really weird. So the scan, I remember the TV screen, and then just screen it up, and there's baby. And obviously, compared to 6 weeks of this little being, this is now. I didn't really get it until I saw this point. I was like, that's our baby. That's, from any point it's your baby, but to see a head, hands, feet, character, personality, and you can just tell from the looking and seeing, and babies sort of waving, and they said, oh, we can check for gender and stuff like that. We can, there's no promises, but we can sort of check. Baby's crossed his legs, sort of like, no, definitely not showing you. You're gonna have to wait. And I was like, there's the cheeky side. And then we're there, and I remember baby sort of like rolled onto one side. The woman was trying to get some movement because she needed some more measurements, and baby sort of like, nah, not doing it, and curled up exactly how Claire sleeps, and it's so weird, like hands like a proper princess sleep, and sort of just like, no, nap time, that's it. And I just remember saying, definitely takes after you already. And then Claire having to do some like weird wiggling with her hips. Like lift your hips, shake about, and I'm thinking, this is really weird, but get it. Baby sort of moved a bit like, oh, yeah, if you must take this large measurement, fine, and then leave me to sleep. So yeah, that was, and it was just this. It was very surreal. It was sort of like I was kind of watching everything from above me, like in a movie. Like you're watching a movie, and it doesn't feel. It just feels so strange, and it's quite humbling to know and see that. If you know what I mean, it puts a lot of things into perspective about what matters and what doesn't, and knowing that we created life. So yeah, I remember they did the other checks, and then they said about the placenta being at the front, and that's probably why Claire hadn't felt anything with baby and stuff. So yeah, and I think we then come out of there, we had our pictures, and we was all happy, and everything was great. Life was great. Baby's all fine. Claire's then gone off and had blood tests. So I think the bloods were to check certain things to do with if baby's got a chance of any disabilities and kind of things like that. I'm not really sure, but again, don't have a clue about that kind of thing. But yeah, so I remember waiting. Claire's come out, and we're really happy. Took a couple of photos, and just like, yeah, let's send these to our circle. And then we done like the cards and things just to family that obviously with COVID and stuff, we're a bit further away, and my family back in Kent, we was like, how can we tell? We'd like to tell them in a nice way. Normally we tell them face to face, but we can't. So we was like, right, then what can we do? I remember just being really excited. We was like, let's do this, let's do that, and just a bit of fun as well. And I remember the reactions when they come back, and everyone was just so happy. And we got the odd fear as you do, a bit quick, and I just think whatever. People can think what they think, but we know what we want, and we're going for it. So we were just happy, and the right people were happy about it as well. And it was just great to share it with them. So yeah, from that point, everything was just smooth sailing. Everything seemed absolutely fine, and it was. And then I just remember it just something switched, and it just over sort of the coming week, Claire just wasn't herself. She just wasn't her, and I could feel something wasn't right. But you just kind of put it down to, again, raging pregnancy hormones and the stress of things. Now thinking, oh, okay, this is all great, but we've also got to think of prams, cots, car, how we're gonna live in flat and all these things. So I get it, and the anxiety and everything, and then working and the whole COVID situation. Then I remember, like I say, it's still some of it's blur, but And obviously it's still fresh, as it's only happened a few weeks ago, but there's bits I'm still like, I feel like I was kind of floating through.
Yeah.
But I remember then Claire saying that she'd had some discharge. It was watery, and she was a little bit worried, as you would be. Nothing she'd experienced before. So you girls know about that. I don't really know. It's just sort of like, okay, well, let's check it out. Let's, if you don't think that's normal to
If
what
it's
you
not
have,
normal, yeah,
if it's not normal, let's check it out. So we look in, and she's checking with her friends and stuff as well, and we were like, oh, okay, so it's pretty normal. But then we were having dinner, and Claire she was okay, but she started feeling really unwell. And this was obviously known now, this was the start of it all.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember thinking, oh, maybe she's just tired, and, who knows? But you could tell immediately the colour went, she just went this different, like she just drained and went really white. And she just felt so unwell, and she just thought, I'm just really tired, I need to go to bed. So, okay, cool. So, and this is like the 3 weeks leading up to baby's birth. She just became increasingly irritable, increasingly, agitated, nervous, anxious, which is, again, can happen, mood swings, etc. But I still knew something wasn't 100% in it, because it was just worse and worse and worse. But Claire's physical health was starting to deteriorate.
Mm-hmm.
So, we all suffer mentally sometimes, and it can happen, and you just support people as you do, don't you? Especially your partner. But it was apparent she wasn't well, but we didn't know, obviously at the time, didn't know how bad until, probably the final week leading up. She was so lethargic. She had this headache. She was getting increased discharge. She had some bleeding, and I just remember just thinking, something's not right, but we don't know what. But Claire, being very stubborn, so let's call the doctors, let's do this. And she's like, no, it's all right, I just need to rest, because she'd called the midwife, and they said, oh, the bleeding's only a bit light, we're not too concerned. And I was like, okay, well, that's positive. Maybe you've just, they said they think she's got a bug. I was like, okay, well, they know what they're talking about, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just give it a bit of time and see how it goes. So I'm going to work, Claire's mum's coming over. We're kind of rotating around Claire just to make sure she's okay and getting enough rest and stuff like that. Claire's just becoming increasingly difficult, increasingly irritable, agitated, to the point of she's just snapping really easily and all these things. But at the same time, it's very brief, because then she just wants to sleep. And then I remember I said to her mum, I think it was on the Thursday, I dropped her home, and her mum was obviously really concerned. And I said, look, obviously, if this carries on tomorrow, if she's still the same, we need to do something, we need to act. So I remember the Friday, I've got up, gone to work, but I've left Claire in bed, but I've just sort of woke her enough so that I've said, look, I've left you breakfast here. And then I've come back on my break, and the whole place was just dark still. I thought, this isn't right. So obviously I've come in, and Claire's just out in bed, it's almost comatose. And I've woken her, breakfast is still on the side, she's not touched it. So I've woken her and just said, look, fully knew what was going to happen, but so look, we need to do something now, darling. Like, we need to act, because you're not well, you've been told to rest, it's only getting worse. So what do we do about it? What am I going to do? I'm like, need to call 111. All your doctors are, we need to do something, we need to act now. So, well, you want me to call 111? Really? What? I'm just like, yes, just call 111, we'll deal with it. So I think part of it in there is obviously she's worried about baby. She's worried about everything. She doesn't want the same thing before. Same for me. I'm sat there and I'm thinking, I know that, but if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. We need to find out either way what is going on with you, because you're not very well. So we got through to my mum. The repetitiveness of that service annoys me. It's a great thing, but having to repeat yourself 3 or 4 times is a bit of a drain, especially when it's the situation you're in. And Claire's just obviously emotional as well. And I'm just, just like, just do something. Stop asking me the same questions and stop asking me and asking the stuff you know. Surely you're recording this, because we had to call back 3 or 4 times, whatever it was. In the end, they've got through to the doctors and they've arranged an appointment. So I've shot back to work, explained to work what's going on. They were great. And then I've come back, picked Claire up and gone, right, let's get to the appointment. We've gone there, and the woman, doctor, she was good. She said, come in, it's all right. I said, can I come in? Because obviously I was in a COVID sitch. She said, yeah, that's fine, come in. So Claire's provided a urine sample. She's done a test there, which showed that there's blood in Claire's urine, which we kind of expected. She's bleeding, and it's there, so it wasn't a shock. She examined her, pressed around the stomach, got out is it a Doppler or something where they can listen to the heartbeat to try and reassure her. Couldn't find a heartbeat, but with Claire's placenta being at the front, this wasn't anything unusual. So initial diagnosis was, you've got what is looking like a UTI. So we're like, oh, okay, that would, a lot of the symptoms are that as well. So a little bit of like, okay, hopefully it's just that. It's still not great, but obviously we can get you sorted. So she's prescribed these antibiotics. It'll go to this chemist. You can go and pick up about half hour. So we've shot there, no record of it at the moment. Come back in a bit. Like, right. So a little bit annoyed, but okay, it does take a bit of time. Claire goes in, comes out really upset. They've got no record. There's no thing for Claire Drew. But let's get back, see if we can get round to the doctors. So I've shot round to the doctors. They're closed. Great. So there's nothing we can do literally other than call back on 111. So by this time it's like 7, 8 o'clock at night. So obviously Claire's getting more upset. I'm getting more frustrated, and angry, but trying to keep it in because I'm trying to support Claire. It's what she needs. But at the same time, you're just thinking, why can't someone just press the button and send a prescription? It's not difficult. But I know the frustrations of working in healthcare and the paperwork and everything, but a lot of things can be solved by someone just pressing a button, and it's just annoying. But anyway, Claire spoke to her mum, said the same as me. Claire takes a bit of persuading, just stubbornness, to call my mum back. Called them back. They've said they would get an out-of-hours doctor to speak to us within the next 2 hours, 2-hour window, and then they would sort a prescription that we could go and pick up in the morning. We're like, right, okay, that's fine. We can do that. It's not great, it's not ideal, but if that's the only thing we've got, then we've got to go with it. So I remember it's getting later and later. It goes past 2 hours. At this point, I'm just really pissed off, thinking, why say you're going to call when they're not? And I know that's going through Claire's mind, but I'm keeping it in, trying to be like, it's okay, let's call, let's do this. And I think a part of Claire's like, why is he not annoyed? Why is he not angry? And I'm like, inside, I'm like, I don't want to think I don't care, because I do. I really care, but I need one of us to be a bit more, one of us to be focused right now. You let your emotions out, do what you need to do, and let me focus and try and get this sorted. So the 111, like, oh, it's only been 15 minutes past your 2 hours. We're like, yeah, but this started at 12 o'clock today, and this is now going on and on. We're now something like 10 hours into this, and it shouldn't happen. oh, someone will call you back, someone will call you back. So I said, look, leave your phone on loud, let's try and get some sleep. It's getting late, it's like 11 o'clock at night, still not got a call. I said, if there's no call in the morning, by the morning, we just get straight to the hospital, because if this is carrying on, we can't have it. I remember kind of falling asleep, but not fully. She tried to sleep, but her mind's racing. I think I'm in and out, sort of just can't get comfortable. Claire's just waiting with the phone, just begging that someone's going to call. And then I think I woke up. Claire was not in the bed. Where's she gone? So, and Claire does some weird things, but this is to me, it was like, where's she gone? And she's in the bath at like 3-4 in the morning, whatever it was. I'm like, are you all right? And she's like, I couldn't sleep, and she's like, this is the only thing that sort of is soothing me right now. I was like, all right, fine, do what you need to do. But still no call then. She was like, no, nothing. So, all right. I was like, do your bath, try and come and get some sleep, because you're going to need some rest. All in our heads, both just worried of what's going to happen and what's going to go on. So I remember getting to early morning, still nothing. And by this point, I'm raging, like internally raging. But again, thinking just try and keep calm and let's just get this sorted. So I remember pretty much, Claire at this point is physically, she's weakening, she's deteriorating, and this is just not acceptable now. So after the experience of miscarrying before and the whole waiting for an ambulance, I was like, nah. I was like, we're just gonna bypass that, and we're gonna get straight to the A&E. So got her in the car. She's not with it. Her head's pounding. She's got sunglasses on. She can barely lift her head. So we got in there. I plonked her down on the seat, and I remember I did go back and apologise to the receptionist, but I just said, I'm going to level with you. I'm fed up. This is what we've had so far is unacceptable. My partner, she needs to be seen now. Like, we've been waiting for a 111 call for probably, you're looking at, the last time we spoke to him about 11 o'clock. So I said, this has been going on since 12 o'clock yesterday. She's severely unwell. She's deteriorating. She needs urgent medical attention now. Bearing in mind she's 14 weeks pregnant. This isn't right. Sort of like, UTI. Yeah, right. This has gone beyond.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit more assertive than that, but I probably can't share that bit. But I remember, I think Claire sort of half got it, and then I'll go and book yourself in on these computers. And again, it's just I get it, but at the same time, it's all these questions, the same questions that my mum will ask you, and all these things, and you think, just let us see someone. It doesn't matter what I put on this screen. So I was just putting through. I had to put it through because you have to do it. So I'm rushing through trying to do it, and then we're seen within 10 minutes. Nurse comes out, takes me to triage. She's like, I've seen your notes. I know exactly what's happened, this kind of thing. So tell me what's from obviously what's happening this time. So obviously Claire's upset and emotional as expected. I'm just holding on to her at this point. She's talking to the woman. She's really good, to be fair. She said, I'm sorry, I've got to fill all this out and do this, but it's part of it. Yeah, me inside thinking, just give her some treatment. Just do something.
Just examine her. Like, yeah, come on.
Yeah. Just do something. Other than filling out bloody forms. So we get taken into the same side room that we'd been in back in November, which again, no matter what anyone says, you have connections to things like that, and it brings it back. So I remember being sat there, and they've come in, and straight away they've done the SATs and all sorts. Claire's blood pressure's not right, this isn't right, that isn't right. I'm like, well, yeah, hello. Clearly, this woman can barely lift her head up. So typical, pump her full of fluids, which is great. I'm like, right, finally, because she's not eating, she's not drinking.
Yeah.
Within probably half hour, she's not completely herself, but you can see her coming back, her colour's starting to come back. And their immediate thing is Claire's health, which is fine, and I get that. And we'll deal with baby after. I'm like, right, okay. So then they're testing her for all sorts. They're checking her eyes, and it could be they're suspecting meningitis due to the headache, the severity of the headache. Possibly, if not meningitis, possibly brain tumour because of it's located in one place. And we need to do this, we need to do that. So all in sort of meantime, Claire's sort of taking it in, but not, because she's just sort of coming back to herself. And I remember sitting there thinking, okay, at least they're doing something now. And you can see already the noticeable change in Claire. And I just remember looking at her, and her eyes had that glow back. Before they were just gone dark. Mm-hmm. And it was horrible. It was just horrible. And that was coming back, and I just looked at her, and I was like, I can see you again now, sort of thing. And you're looking at me like you used to. And she just burst out crying. Both just sort of in tears. She was like, what's happening? Like, what's going on? Basically, not fully with it. So I said, look, this is the case at the moment. Breaking it down to her simply, so she's got some kind of understanding of what's going on to her, or with her and her body. All in the meantime, you've got people buzzing around. We're going to X-ray, we're going to CT, we're going to do this. So we're like, okay, great, but baby size. I know that's not your concern right now, but I know radiation and stuff isn't great. So what would you do? And they said, oh, you can have like a gown or like a shield that can protect. I'm like, okay. So I remember then this guy come in, and Claire took a sample, and it was probably one of the points where things started getting a bit more light-hearted, and we're quite humorous anyway. We're quite dark humour as well, but I remember him saying, Claire sort of looking at him, and he held his hand out, and I'm looking at him like, this guy just a bit weird. He's in his scrubs, and he's got his name badge, and he went, I don't want to shake hands, I just want your urine. I'm sort of looking, Claire's looking at him, and I was like, right, he's like, your sample? And I was like, oh, would you collect that kind of thing then? And he's sort of, oh yeah, I'm into that. That's what I used to collect stamps, but I changed this like a year ago. And I thought, right, you're my kind of guy. You're gonna provide a bit of light relief. He cleared off, and then we had a bit of a rigmarole with Claire's earrings. It was just so funny. It was nice to have a bit of light relief in what was. It took our mind off it a little bit, especially for me. She had to take her earrings out, her piercings, for CT scan, MRI, and all this. So I'm there, and my sausage fingers ain't going to do any good with getting earrings out and stuff like that. So I'm trying to unscrew these little bolts, and there's like, they've been in since I was 15, and I was like, oh, it's a bit rank. You never taken them out and cleaned them. She's like, not for a while. I was like, oh, right. So they're like, we're going to have to try and get them off. And you've got all these nurses and doctors coming in. There was about 5 or 6 trying to unscrew these bolts, and they was like, we're going to have to cut them off. So the urine man comes back, and I was like, I knew it'd be you, because something weird had to be you, didn't it? And he's got pliers and all sorts, and then he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I heard this, and I was like, I have to come and collect these. So I was like, great. So he's there, and I remember him like sort of braced it up, Claire brace, clipped it, and so this guy's managed to get them off, and then I remember him coming back and saying, oh, we don't need a CT scan now. So nurse come back, and Claire's, I remember she's eating these biscuits, and she's laughing and joking. It was just so nice to see Claire, from just Claire right back. And I was like, oh, and by this point she's on IV antibiotics and all sorts, because they know she's got an infection, but they just couldn't, they're trying to pinpoint where. So generic antibiotics, loads of fluids, and you can see her perking right back up. And then we just had a nice couple of moments, just held each other, and obviously then thought switched to baby. And I remember them coming in and saying, you know, we want to try and organise a scan, all this kind of thing. But again, this is a Saturday, so is it not going to be till Monday again? And that's thinking, oh, here we go. Flashbacks, and it's all coming back, and you think it's just a repeat. So then I was in there for a little bit longer, and they said, right, we're going to move you to, I think it's called the emergency floor, which is like next level up from A&E. So we've gone round, and we've got a side room. I'm so fortunate at this point to be able to go with Claire, because I'm thinking, COVID, I don't want her to be on her own, especially with, you know, at any point anyway, it's not nice, but especially with baby and stuff, it was just, that would have been horrific. But they was like, no, you can come round, it's fine. You're in a side room, so you've got privacy. Like, great. So then we're sat in there, and then it's sort of, time was a bit, that weekend or that time period seems like it was a year anyway. It just went, everything just seemed forever, no matter what. So again, she's on antibiotics, she's on this, she's on that. She's eating some dinner, and I'm thinking, oh great, it's so good. And Claire's a bit more relaxed, and bleeding's on and off. So obviously still worries there, but you're kind of thinking, trying to think positive and think that it's just for the infection, and that's what's causing this, and infections can cause bleeds, and, you know, trying to remain on that positive side. So yeah, I remember then it's getting quite late, and then the woman from the gynae team come round, examine Claire, and what you girls have to go through that, by the way, newfound respect on that. It's not doesn't look comfortable at all. So I was a bit like, she pulled this contraption. I've never seen it before, so I was like, okay, pulled this contraption out of the bag, and I'm like, that's oh right, okay.
Where do you think that's going?
Yeah, that's big. Get quite scary actually. So yeah, massive respect on what girls go through with that. So woman's examining her, and I can see Claire's face, and I can see how uncomfortable it is. And she sort of like, yeah, okay, well, you know, your cervix seems fine, and I'm not too concerned. I'm going to take a swab, something they normally do apparently. There is, you know, there is some bleeding, but it seems to be stopped, so it's not a lot. And the fluid it could just be, you know, discharge, as can be normal. So anyway, so that all seems fine. So we're a bit more like, oh, okay, everything seems cool, everything seems fine. At this point, I've had to go. I didn't want to go, obviously, didn't want to, but we had to. So I remember, and I think Claire knew, she knew I didn't want to go, but I knew I had to, so I've shot off. And yeah, spent that night. We're sort of still none the wiser of what's going on. We know that Claire's, you know, should be okay, but like I said, a worry's now a baby, so didn't sleep, you know, didn't have any kind of real rest. And then I'm right, straight up in the morning, dog into daycare, bless her, not that she minds because she loves it, and straight down to hospital. So this is the Sunday, so Valentine's Day actually. Not how you know, we don't actually, we're not massive believers in it, and we don't really celebrate it, but just sort of a bit of banter, we agreed we were going to do just like a movie night and just have a chill one originally. So obviously that wasn't, you know, original plans out the window. And then so got to hospital, and then it's that Sunday, that Valentine's Day, it was just again very surreal. I think I can't remember if I got there, and Claire had been was down having a scan by the time I got there, which she told me that morning that's what they wanted to do. They managed to get the consultant, who's like the head gyno or whatever, Dr. Vexi, who was fantastic as well. We'll get on to him, but he, at this point, obviously Claire had been, been more blood through the night. It was getting worse and worse. She's clotting, and yeah, I just remember I got there and thinking, I remember sitting in the room and just waiting. And again, what feels like forever and ever. It's probably only like 5-10 minutes, but I'm sat there and I was playing a game on my phone, trying to distract myself, and because all that's going through my head is, please let baby be fine. Please let baby be okay. We know Claire's on the mend. Playing a game on my phone and just trying to take my mind off it, because inside I was all over the shop, but trying to be the tower of strength, crumbling inside, but like just sat there thinking, I've got, Claire needs me. Claire needs this. Needs me to just be that strength for her right now, because she's just going through what I can't even begin to imagine what I knew what was going on in my head. So what was going on in her head must have just been another level. As well as physically, she's in pain, she's got this, she's got that, and I just can't even put into words what she was obviously going through. So I remember there was this window I never got. I don't know why they've got it. Apparently some weird sneaking thing. I don't know. They have to check. So I'm sat there and I stood up actually, so I stretched my legs and just walk around. And I remember looking out the window. I looked out this little window and I see them wheeling Claire back, and she's just bawling, absolutely bawling. And I thought, this isn't good. Just know this isn't good. She's outside the room and I can see she's holding some stuff like paperwork and that. And so I was like, right, breathe. She's going to need you right now, because this isn't. You can just tell. You can just look and this isn't going to be good. So I just remember I took a couple of deep breaths, and then she come in and was like, all right, and she's just absolutely in bits, and she's trying to get her words out, and I've just held on to her, and I was like, it's okay, just tell me when you're ready, And this other woman was the desk. I'm really sorry, and I just said, thank you. Shall I give you some time? And I remember Claire could barely get her words out, but she showed me the scan pictures and the heartbeat, and she said, sort of getting it out bits at a time, but said the scan went really well at first, and everything seemed fine, and they were really happy. And I was like thinking, what's she crying for then? Is it happy tears? And then she said, but then this Dr. Vexi guy, who's, like I said, really good, he said, yeah, but your baby's fine and it's all good. She said, well, and then she said to him, but why am I bleeding then? Why am I bleeding this much? Surely that's not right. And he was like, didn't know you were bleeding. I had no thing of this. So he's then said, I need to examine you. So Claire's like, yeah, fine. Obviously, do what you need to do. So on the second examination, he's then realised that the discharge that we thought was normal was what he believed was amniotic fluid. So took a swab and said, I'm really sorry, but I think that your amniotic fluid is leaking. The sac has obviously ruptured. And then I remember Claire saying this, and I'm just trying to take it in, just sort of disbelief, like how, and that her cervix looked like baby was moving into birth canal, and cervix had changed to someone that didn't look like someone that was 14 weeks pregnant, but more like was about to give birth. And I'm thinking, so what the hell happened then? And she said, basically, his professional opinion is that we're going to lose the baby within the next couple of days. And we just cried, just cried, and I just held her tight, and said, look, we've been here before. I know it's a bit different, but we've been here, and we're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. We've got this, basically. I didn't know what to say, but just typical try and reassure, and yeah. So yeah, then a woman come in and said she was more to the health side than maternal and gynae. So she said, I'm here for Claire's health, not babies, but I'm really sorry to hear what's happened. And she was really, really nice, said some really beautiful things, and said, it's I know it's devastating, but this can happen. I know this has happened, and it's awful, but people have had this happen, and then have gone on to have healthy pregnancies, and it'll be fine. So just try and, at the time you're thinking, I think people don't know what to say. They're just trying to give you some kind of reassurance or some kind of thing. So they said, she then said, oh, you're best placed to be at home. And I was like, home? I don't think so. It's like, we've got this letter here that says we're to the labour ward, or labour birthing centre. And she said, oh, let me just check. And I read on the thing the technical term for the rupture of the membranes. At that point, it clicked for me. I didn't say anything to Claire, but it clicked for me what had really happened, and was like, wow, okay. Let's just get over to labour ward. Let's get Claire comfortable, and go from there. Remember, we went on this long journey like a maze, and there was lifts, and it was like a TARDIS. It was just weird. I was like, how is this hospital this big? Remember, we got settled and tried to settle Claire, and she was still upset. And we're there, and we joked. She was like, "Happy Valentine's Day," and it was just funny, trying to make light of what we could. And then I just remember Claire was like, "I'm confused. Like, why has it gone from this to that?" And so we spoke to the midwife, who was really good, and she said, "Look, I'll try and get Dr. Bexley to come and explain more in depth for you." And it was like, "Oh yes, please," because we're a little bit like, "What's going on?" So he comes over about an hour later. We're sat there. Comes in the room. He's got a couple of consultants with him, and he said, Claire saying, can you talk to Charlie, because he understands all the medical jargon, and if you talk to him and he can break it down to me if we need to, but just tell me what's going on, because I don't really know how we've got to this point." And I sat there a bit the same, to like, what's going on. So I remember him saying, so he said, obviously from your examination and stuff, my professional opinion is that you're gonna miscarry within the next couple of days, because your amniotic sac is ruptured and is leaking. So that is the most likely outcome. So we got right. He said, but it's not guaranteed that will happen. That is the worst case scenario. There are some other scenarios, but it's unlikely, but they can happen. So explained about the amniotic sac, and if the rupture is higher or lower, and it can have a difference, and they can generate more amniotic fluid, and the sac can repair itself, and it can go on and be fine. So I was like, all right, okay. Did also, another option is that if the rupture is higher, it's not repairing, and there's more fluid being generated and stuff, that baby can survive, but is likely to be severely unwell. Which at this point, you'd have to make a decision between potentially, termination, or having a severely unwell baby that could survive, but is unlikely to. But if it does, then it's going to be severely unwell for life. It's, because it won't be fully formed. There'll be certain things that can, lungs and all sorts. And so you're sort of in a whole new world of like, okay, so we don't really know what's going to happen in the next few days. But at least we know that there's some hope, which is, weirdly, one of the things since me and Claire met was we'd always said this weird saying, we've always got hope, and it never made sense until obviously what happened. But yeah, so it's like, okay, so we've got hope. We've got some hope, which is great. So sort of clinging to that. Claire's getting better. Her infection seems to be clearing. There's hope for baby. So I remember sitting there and thinking, right, well, I'll stay here as late as I can and see what happens. And so I think they were really great. The labour ward were amazing, and at no point was I made to feel anything other than the daddy. You know, you're the dad, you're the father, and I was so involved, which meant everything instead of just being pushed to the side. And it wasn't about me. It was fully about getting Claire well and what was going on with baby. But to feel that still meant a lot because we're both in this and we're both experiencing it. So again, I had to go, which obviously I didn't know. We didn't know what was going to happen and when. But so I went out to pick up our little doggo, and Claire was there. We spoke that night. I remember come home. I just felt awful that I couldn't be there. I didn't want to be at home. I wanted to be with Claire with her hand and just being there. And I can't help but feel some kind of guilt that I wasn't there, but I wasn't. That's just how it is. But so I remember didn't really sleep again. And then it was exactly the same process in the morning. I was going to get up, take dog to daycare, get over to Claire as soon as I could. So I remember dropped doggo in, and Claire had messaged saying about waters had broke during the night, so they were expecting baby to come. But it could be any time. It's we don't really know. There's no set thing for this. Is there? It's whenever. And then so I'm driving, drop dog off, and then it's about half hour drive, 45 minutes from the daycare to the hospital, and got in the car. I'm driving, and I actually went a different way because something just told me to go that way. And as I'm driving along, and I'm a bit of a woodland freak and love all that kind of thing. So I'm driving through, and I've never been to this place. I'm new to down here and stuff. So I'm driving through, and I'm thinking this place is beautiful. It's just incredible. I'm looking around as I'm driving, and I'm thinking, wow, this is nice. Phone starts ringing. And I'm looking. It's Claire. I kind of knew, when you just think, she knows I'm on my way. So why is she ringing? There's got to be something. Didn't want it to be the case, but I answered the phone. And this is 20 to 8. And 7:30, 20 to 8, something like that. And she's talking, she said, "Oh, you okay? You're on your way." And I said, yeah. I said, I dropped dog off about 10 minutes ago, leaving in about 20 minutes. And she said, "Okay, darling." She said, "Don't rush." She said, baby's here. So just get here safe, and we can spend some time. I was, devastated I wasn't there. Still to this day, and I think forever, I feel some sort of guilt and some feeling that I wasn't there, and it was just awful. But Claire was okay. I said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Yeah, honestly." She said, there was no pain. It was amazing, beautiful. It's okay. I'll be there. I'll get there. And put the phone down. They said, "Love you. I'll see you soon. And you stay strong." And I put the phone down, and I must have looked like a madman, but I just lost it. Just lost it at the wheel. I just screamed, shouting, and punching the wheel, and it was all just all this emotion just came out, and I remember driving, and I said, people must have been like, "Are you all right?" And then it just stopped, and I just went silent, and it all just hit. and I'm driving, and again, it was like a short drive, but it seemed like forever. On the drive, I actually spoke to Claire's mum. Her mum rang, and I had to break the news to her, and she was crying, and she's like, "I'm so sorry," and I said, "Look, it's all right. I said, this happened, isn't it?" I said, "Claire's okay, and we'll get through this. It'll be fine." I said, "I'll tell Claire that you know, and we'll go from there." And yeah, so I got to hospital, and so I was just silent for the rest of the drive. I didn't know. I just went numb. Went just numb. And I thought, I sat in the car for a minute. I got there, parked up, sat there, and just was like, right, I've got to go in and, I don't know what I'm facing. We've never experienced this before, but just keep going there and do what you need to do. So I remember getting to the room, and we were standing outside the door for a minute, and a woman, the midwife, "Oh, you know where you're going?" I said, "Oh, yeah. Claire at my door," which she really does. She was like, "There's no noise in the ward other than you. Whenever you turn up near your dog." I was like, "Well, I got myself known, haven't I?" And she's there, and we both just looked at each other and just cried, and held each other. And baby was in the cot, and Claire said, "Oh, we're allowed some time, and we can have as long or as short as we want. But at the moment, I just can't pass it." So I'm sat there, and I'm like, right, there's always something else. You just give us give us a break here. And then I'm sat there, and I'm like, right, you can do it. I'm just at this point, I'm numb, and my body's numb. My mind's just kind of numb. My body's numb, and I'm looking at Claire, I'm holding her hand, and I was just all throughout anyway. I was just in awe of her and her strength and what she did and what she had to go through. And not being there kills me that I wasn't there. But she absolutely bossed it. She's just incredible. I call her my Wonder Woman because she is. And I know how strong I am, but I've had to be before, and it's just there for me. But for her, going through what she went through with such grace, such dignity, and I'm just so proud of her and proud of everything. And I just thought, right, I said to her, "Look, what you've gone through already, the centre, yeah, we can do this, you've got it." And she's there, and just like, "Do I push? Do I?" And she's like, they gave her, I can't know what they're called, but they pop them up, and apparently it helps contract and push it out. So they tried this, and nothing's happening. And then there was Claire thought she needed me to go to the toilet. Thought she needed number 2, and they're like, "Oh, it's good with the centre because of the pressure and stuff."
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a funny moment, which I won't embarrass Claire with, but it was really funny. But she sort of waddled into the toilet, and forget, it was the sound of Pingu on the ice. Remember the TV show Pingu? And Pingu used to slap across the ice like, and you heard this sound coming from the bathroom, and it's Claire with her feet on the floor, and it's making this Pingu sound. She's like, "Pingu, do you remember?" And we burst out laughing, and we were just looking at each other, and I just looked at her, and I said, "I just love you, you know that." And she's like, "I love you too." And I was like, "They must think we're mental in here." So, still no movement off the centre, still nothing. And they was like, "Right, if this doesn't come soon, we're going to have to, perform surgery." I'm like, "Just give us a break. Just give Claire a break. She's been through enough."
Yeah.
So within 10 minutes, the consultant there, she was lovely, examined Claire. The centre weren't budging. She was like, "We need to go in because it's gonna cause you more problems if we don't. So the more we wait, the worse it's gonna get." So we sat there. Next thing you know, we need to get this done soon. So next thing is the room swarms with these, anaesthetist consultants, and I remember they were all just amazing. And I was sat actually at this point we were having time with Hope. It's the first time I'd held Hope, and I was still numb, but I remember holding Hope in the little cuddle cot, seeing Hope's face, and it dawned on me a lot more how this isn't a miscarriage. I don't see it as a miscarriage by any, and I don't know how. It's actually quite insulting, I think, to be deemed that before 24 weeks or whatever, it's a miscarriage. Hope's our baby. I was like, this is my baby. This is our baby. There's hands, there's feet, there's fingers, there's there's ears, there's eyes, there's everything that you'd expect from a baby.
Yeah.
Inside, my heart just broke, but at the same time, I felt nothing but love. And I remember holding baby, and then I'm at this point, and all these people around are talking to Claire, and this guy come in, and he was a bit later than the others, and he just come around and said, can I see Hope? Is that okay? He introduced himself first, obviously. And he said, oh, Hope's beautiful, really beautiful. And he put his hand on my shoulder. And it was the only thing that stopped me from just losing it. I was at that point, and I thought, I can't right now. I know, he said don't hold it in, but Claire still needs me to be stronger right now. And at the same time, I'm thinking, please don't think I don't care, anybody in this room.
Nobody thought that.
No, but it goes through your head, doesn't it? Because you just think, do they think I'm just this cold-hearted dad who sat here like there? Because obviously I'm not. But he put his hand on my shoulder, and I remember I looked up at him, and he looked at me, and he sort of just smiled, and he said, it's all going to be okay, mate. It's all going to be okay. And thank you for letting me see Hope. And then Claire sat there and made a decision on what she's going to have anaesthetic-wise, and I just thought they'd knock her out, go in, whip it out, job done. And they said, your best option, because you've had breakfast and stuff, is that we actually inject your spine. So I didn't know, but is known as the epidural. Basically the same thing. So you can walk down to the theatre, and we'll do this there. We'll inject you. Your body will pretty much go numb. As Claire says, from boobs down, as she couldn't feel anything. So she went off. She was in there, and I had some time with Hope. And as much, obviously, loved having me, Claire, and Hope, but that was my little time with Hope. And I'll never forget it. And I kind of sat there, and I remember I was looking out the window, and it was the weirdest thing. That the weather had just been awful, and I'm talking and looking out the window, and all of a sudden the clouds just sort of went, and it was sunshine. It's the weirdest thing. I've never seen anything like it. And then I'm holding Hope, and I'm looking, and I'm talking, and I'm just telling her, saying I love you, and I'm so sorry we don't get more time. Thank you for, looking after your mum and making that decision for her, not letting her, not having to put us through any difficult decisions, and you're going to be so looked after. There's so many people up there or wherever it is in the next life and so on, that I fully believe that the body is a vessel, and our spirit goes elsewhere, whether that's an energy or whatever. But I was just looking up at the sky for some reason, and looking back at Hope, and just saying, Daddy loves you, Mummy loves you, and you're not going to be forgotten. You're always with us, and we're always going to talk about you, and you're going to, all being good, you're going to have brothers and sisters, and you've made us a mummy and a daddy. And for that, can't thank you enough. And I just said, my dad was with us, your granddad Tony, and I said, he'll be looking after you, he'll be spoiling you rotten. And I remember as kids, you go in the sweet shop and you just have what you want, and you just go wild. And I hope you're going to have no trouble. You're going to want for nothing. You're going to. And I said, you're going to be, you've now got the freedom that we all dream of, and only you know all the secrets of the universe that we don't know now, and you're so free to have that, and you're going to be free, and you're going to go and do whatever you want, and just be free now. Hope, just be free, and know that you're loved, and you'll always be loved, and you're always here with us in some way or another. And it was more then that I just thought, it was devastating, but beautiful at the same time. I've never experienced anything like it in my life. I thought, you think you get to a point in life and you think you know it all, you think you've been there, you think you've done that,
Yeah.
and then to become a dad is another level. But I think not ever getting to hear Hope say daddy, or or mummy, and all those things are sad, but at the same time, Hope has just taught me so much in the short space of time that we had. And me and Claire were close and stuff anyway, but now there's just that unbreakable bond, and it's just drawn us even closer, and for that I'm so grateful. And she knows how much I love her, and I know how much she loves me, and hopes give us more than we could have ever dreamed for with that. And Hope's taught us a lesson. Hope gave us that lesson, and for that there's no bounds to my appreciation or anything. I will always love Hope. Will always love Hope. I will never. Every day I swing my mind. I go to bed and it's there, and talking about it is good. It's good. It's healthy, and it should be. And Hope's story should be told, and will continue to be. And I would that half hour or whatever it was I had, or hour, was, again, it seemed like forever, and I'm so grateful for that time. And just held, and my arms went all warm, and it was the weirdest thing. I can't explain it. And then I remember I stood up, and the guy from before, he come in and he said, "How you doing? You okay?" I said, "I'm all right. How's Claire? That's the main thing. What's going on?" And he said, "Everything's fine." He said, "Surgery, literally," he said, "it went as good as it can go. It's an absolute dream. Everything that's really good up there." And I said, "Does it?" I said, "Oh, you know what I mean?" I said, "Yeah." And I met a bit of a close banter about it, and we laughed. And he said, he said, "Honestly, he said, there's no damage to her womb, uterus, everything." He said, "It's just gone an absolute dream. It couldn't have gone better." And I said, I know there's COVID, but can I just shake your hand? Like, you've just, something else, there's something good that's coming. This is that Claire's healthy and she's fine and she's okay." So, and he said, "Yeah, of course you can, man." And he shook my hand, and I remember straight away, he obviously washed and sanitized, and I said to him at the time, and I said, "I'll take that because of COVID." I said, "I'm not offended." I said, "But I do know about your hands have been as well." So, and he laughed.
Yeah.
And I said, but all seriousness, I appreciate you coming in. I said, because, he said, "No, I knew you was on your own in here, and I wanted to, as soon as I knew it was fine, I wanted to come up and tell you it's all good, and it's all okay." He said, if it was my partner, if it was my missus, I'd want to know the same. So I wanted to come and reassure you and just tell you it's fine. And for that, I can't thank him enough. It was just, those guys were the heroes. Do you know what I mean? They were just, he put everything aside to make sure I was okay. And I love him for that. Just absolute hero. And then I could hear outside there was a bit of a commotion, and he said, "Oh, good timing. She's back." And they opened the curtain and the doors, and they brought the bed in, and Claire's there, and she's spaced, like she's we sat there, and then we're talking, and she's gradually coming back, and then she started feeling her legs again, and we just relieved that she was okay, and we spent some more time with Hope. And the midwife was amazing, just amazing, so compassionate, so kind. caring, and the way they refer to, I mean, they know, they understand, they have to use the medical terms, but they know that, same as we do, Hope was born sleeping. Hope was stillborn. So I won't have anyone else say anything other. That's Hope's our baby, and that wasn't just a ball of DNA or anything like that. Hope isn't that. Hope is a baby. Hope is our baby, and the realization hits pretty hard. I think that's the case, and like I say to anyone that's been through it and understands it, I can't put into words what you go through. Really, I mean, I'm trying now and blabbering on a bit, but what you have to go through, and people who just nonchalantly give the whole, oh, it's a miscarriage, or it's this, it's that. You do not understand that you've been there and you've done it. I didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
And it's just a beautiful tragedy, really. It's just a beautiful tragedy, beautiful disaster, whatever you want to call it. But such a weird mix of emotions and feelings, and crazy, absolutely crazy. So yeah, then we're there, and they're telling us it's not really going in, because you kind of just wanted to spend time with Hope, and
Yeah.
you thought about this, thought about that, and you just sort of think, not really, not really.
No.
I've not slept for about a week. I've not had, it's just that constant sort of like, just everything has come to a halt now, and we've got answers, we've got this. Claire's happy, she's healthy, and she's fine, and we've got the gift of Hope. That's why I look at it. Hope wasn't a loss. We gained a lot from Hope, and Hope's a massive gift. And from then, it was the consultants, the follow up, and they're coming in and they're saying, we've got to talk about this and that. And I'm like, right, okay. Me and Claire spoke a little bit and decided what we wanted to do, because I didn't have a clue, but post-mortems and DNA testing, genetic testing, and at the time you think, at first we was a bit like, it's a bit much, isn't it? Or, can this not wait? But we're like, actually, no, we need to decide now because of the importance of preserving Hope. And when we learned that Hope can tell us even more than she already has. I mean, we say she, we don't know officially gender, but we've got the feeling, baby Hope is a she, but boy or girl is baby Hope. So we decided on that, and that was it. Whether baby made it or not, we was like, this is baby Hope. So we sat there, and even other people were just sort of not meaning to, like, we've corrected them and said, we don't know gender. So then, I'm really sorry. But then it's still that overwhelming, oh, it's a beautiful name, she's so beautiful.
She.
So we're like, okay. So baby Hope comes back as a boy, we're all in shock. But either way, we didn't mind. We were just like, baby Hope's baby Hope. So yeah, finding out we could learn more was like, okay, tell us more then. Like, what can we learn? So they said about genetic testing and all these other things, and my head's still a bit blown from it, because I was like, I just didn't understand all this sort of thing goes on. And they said, and then probably the most delicate is a post-mortem. And I'm thinking, post-mortem, really? It's amazing that they can. It's incredible that they can. And we both agreed that we want that to happen. Any kind of testing, any kind of research that Hope can provide for other people. Me and Claire have always been about kindness, being kind and helping other people. And we think that if Hope's story can carry on, and we can create a legacy for Hope, then that's incredible. And it's what we stand for. And having Hope out in the world now, Hope's actually, funnily enough, gone to a hospital in London, which was the hospital where my dad was born, and which is again incredible, and another weird link. So we'll get to know all the results from that. We will find out gender, and any kind of research that can go towards miscarriage, stillborn, and helping other people. And we were like, yeah, do it, do whatever we can, and Hope can spread a message and love and give other people hope. And from that, we discussed about setting up a charity, which we're going to do. It's early days, but a charity or foundation of some kind to help people through miscarriages and stillborns. And we've had such a positive experience. Of course emotional, of course sad, devastating, but also beautiful, profound. And if it can lead to help for other people, then we're all for that, and we always have been, always will be. So that, if that's Hope's legacy, then it's just us coming together, creating hope, and that's a message that Hope's going to send, and we love that, and it's just going to be incredible whatever Hope can tell us and other people. And I think it's a really positive thing that what we stand for carries on in Hope, and obviously we can carry that on in this world, in this life, through Hope's foundation or charity, whatever we decide to go with, and the story can continue as such. And now back home, and Claire had another night in the hospital, and she's been on antibiotics and everything else since, and she's doing really well, and she's back to Claire. She's fully back. She's definitely fully back to the crazy dog lady that I fell in love with. And, she's my soulmate. She's my everything. And it's proven to us in our little small circle who's actually worth our time as well and who's not. Because the support we've had is incredible. And also certain messages have proved that who doesn't matter as much. But as long as we know, as long as we've got each other, nothing can break that. Nothing's going to change that. And Hope's given us that, and that's just thank you to Hope. And I can't put it into words anymore. Just Hope, we love you. I love you, and miss you every day. But you're always here. So thank you for all of that and more. And thank you for providing a platform, Gabs, for people to come and chat and talk and be open. And I think I'm very much one for breaking stigmas, especially previously around mental health and stuff like that. And I've had my own issues and got through them. And it's incredible when people just talk, the power of talking.
Yes.
And it shouldn't be hidden, and it shouldn't be. There's not enough talk that goes on about miscarriage and stillborn. There's not enough. Again, it's a stigma, and same with mental health and all these things. And you just think, why? It needs to be spoken about. It needs to be talked about. There needs to be more done. There needs to be more support for people. And I think what you're doing is incredible. Your own story, I've listened to and watched, and I'm in awe of you as well as a woman. I think you're incredible for what you've been through.
Thank you.
And being able to turn it into a positive outlook and a positive platform that people can come and do this, because it needs it. And Claire's one of these women that's an absolute boss babe, and obviously you're 100% up there with her in my eyes. Girls just deserve, I've always talked to respect women anyway, but I have a newfound respect of what you girls have to go through, not just on a monthly basis anyway, and all those usual things.
Yeah.
But what you put your bodies through and what you go through, there's men out there that need to seriously wake up and have a lot more respect and get an insight into it, because it's blown my mind, it's opened my eyes, and I think any naivety that I had left in life is gone. This was my last little bit of that. I think we're always learning every day. We're always learning every day. But if anything can come of this story, of Hope's story, it's just be kind, be caring. You don't know what everyone's going through, and this is our story. We're telling it how we want to tell it, because it's the truth. And I think that's important, that we've, as fresh as it is and as raw as it is, it needs to be told now. As we know, stories can get mixed, and you get the whispers, and you get people putting their own nonsense in. This is Baby Hope's story, and I thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to be able to share it with you and whoever wants to listen. And anyone who wants to listen and chat and talk, I've got all the time in the world for, and I will always talk about hope.
Thank you so much for finding the Baby Loss podcast and remembering hope. If you would like to be a guest on my podcast and share your baby's story, or if you would like your baby loss charity featured, then please get in touch by searching Baby Loss Podcast on Facebook, Instagram and my YouTube channel. If you have been affected by today's episode, then please reach out. SANDS can be reached via their website sands.org.uk, spelt SANDS, their Facebook page and their helpline on 0808 164 3332. If you require immediate help, you can call the Samaritans 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for free on 116 123. Thank you for listening and see you next time.